Join us on our website at www.thegrandview.org and get more information about our show. There you can download our free book, Everything You Need to Know About Outdoor Painting.
It is 2018. It's the beginning of the year. And I had a discussion with my class in San Jose, and I'm going to carry that discussion into this group. You know, to become an artist is one of the most difficult things there is. It's not easy. The only way that you can actually create and learn how to paint is practice. And sometimes we put way too much emphasis on our paintings that we forget that every painting we're doing right now is just to learn a little bit more in your program. Just a little bit more. The painting that you're doing right now that a lot of you panic over, 5 years from now won't matter because you'll be so far ahead of where you're at right now. And to put a lot of emphasis on getting it done perfect right now, it actually makes it impossible for you to learn anything. That conversation in your head, oh my God, it's not turning out, I'm gonna die. And sometimes you guys get that. It's like every painting that you do has to turn out. Are we here to turn out paintings? Are we here to learn how to paint? And if you're here to learn how to paint, you really should sit in those chairs out of curiosity. It's like, how do I paint feathers on a bird? What would that be like? How do I paint detail if you're a loose painter? And if you're a detail painter, how do I paint loose? How do I do that? You're brand new in painting. Just the sheer process of learning how to paint in oils is curiosity. And every painting that you turn out, believe me, isn't a masterpiece. Artists will sit and pretend that they're great. But yet, most artists are imposters. In fact, every artist you can imagine is an imposter. And they are so because they didn't arrive to where they're at right now perfect. They all have a garage full of paintings that didn't turn out. They all have a garage full of paintings that never got done, that were abandoned. And just remember, no painting is ever really finished, it's just abandoned at a certain point. You either abandon it or the picture just decides not to go further. Leonardo da Vinci tried to finish a painting and it took him 30 years to paint the Mona Lisa.
Wow, that's
amazing. I have a hard time having you stay in class for 3 weeks, let alone 30 years. But I do have students who have been with me for 30 years, so that's really awesome. And it's not that they necessarily need coaching for that long. It's just because they enjoy the process of having a coach. And I do coach. And I have people from all over the country that I coach. And some of those people are incredible artists. And they hire me, and we meet every week, and we go through their artwork. And they just need somebody to tell them, yeah, that's working. They tell me what, I ask them what they were thinking, and I say, yeah, that piece feels done. If not, I give a suggestion of, what's missing. But I have some students that don't even need that. They want to know how to actually become professional artists. Because once you learn this painting process, you'll probably want to share it. And for a lot of people who have had normal jobs where they've had a boss, they have no idea how to get their work out there. So they come to me and they figure, well, he's got a TV show, he's big on YouTube, he's got a lot of this. He probably would have some insights on how to get out there. And it's really amazing. It's a lot of fun. And I enjoy that coaching part of it. I love teaching. I love working with all of you. But sometimes you're in your way. You're in your way. And sometimes, I don't know if you heard what I was doing in the room there, it was like they just had me the brush, oh, just do it. I'm like going, no, that's not any good. You need to figure out how to do it. I don't know what to do. Well, at that point, it's a brain thing. You know you don't like it because your subconscious goes, that doesn't feel right. And the left side of the brain, the thinking part of the brain, is telling you, I'm just too busy to be here in the room. I'm worried about your taxes and what you're going to make for dinner. And so it's checked out. And so your right side of the brain is going, oh no, where's the info? And your left brain's going, well, figure it out. I'm out to lunch. And so, so then the panic and the sweat sets in. And then all of a sudden the fear, which is unfounded because we are not here to produce masterpieces, we're here to learn how to paint. And periodically we do produce masterpieces. But if you really, really, really want to get good, which most of you do, the secret is in the practice. And if you want to get somewhere quicker, the more you practice, the better you get. Now, I was fortunate to have a German mother. And German mothers decide what their kids, actually they don't, they choose what their kids do their life. They never go, I never had my mom ever say, what would you like to be when you grow up? She never once. She never asked me, if you could play an instrument, what would that be? She never engaged. She says, when you grow up, you will take over the family business. You will become a cake decorator and you will like it. That's the problem nowadays, is that kids have too much choice. And then all of a sudden they're 18 and they go, I don't know what to do. You need a German mother. Anyway.
So you weren't supposed to be a cake decorator?
I was supposed to be a cake decorator. That's why she put me in art classes.
You didn't listen?
I didn't listen to her, no. Well, the thing is, she made a mistake. I was actually wanting to be a bowler. That was my dream.
A what?
A bowler. And I probably could have made more money on that than anything, right? Especially back then, bowling was really big. And I was really talented in it, but that's another story. So anyway, so she pulled me out of bowling and put me into painting classes so I would learn how to decorate cakes. See how my mom was thinking? Never asked me if I was interested or not. And then she said, you will learn to play the piano. And so she enrolled me in piano lessons. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, we lived up in Lake Tahoe, and I think she went to go see a concert in one of the casinos, and there was a saxophone player there. And I don't know if he was just really sexy or something, but all of a sudden my mother thought, I should learn the saxophone. So without even asking me, there was a saxophone, and she goes, you will learn to play that. And I'm like going, what is that? So, anyway, that's a whole other story. No, my sister was there too. I love her to death, but if you have German parents, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, they're just that way. But anyway, I digress. But the thing is, when she threw me into piano playing class, there was an expectation that I would practice. And I would practice at least an hour a day. You will practice, and you will practice an hour a day. And my father would say, I'm spending too much money on these kids. So I had to stay on program, but it's the practice that's really important. When I teach the Power to Create class, I have students in 1 week that do 5 paintings of the same subject and do 100 drawings. Why do I do that? Because I have a German mother. No, why do I do that? I do that because I know if you practice like that, you will get better. You will get better. That is the key. The reason why we have these critiques, if I didn't, you wouldn't paint at home. If you didn't paint at home, you'd be in my classes forever. My job isn't to have job security and have you in my classes forever. If that's my goal, which it is, I make sure that the information is pushing you further, not just to keep you stuck in a spot, but to actually push you further so that you get better. And the better and better you get, what does that happen to me? I got to get better and better. So in a way, it's kind of helping me become a really good artist. I got to the point of teaching lectures and things because my students started getting better. I had to improve myself. Some of you watch what you do for homework assignments, and you watch what some people do, and you know what you do and the effort that you put in. And some of you actually think, oh, I need to do a little bit better because so-and-so's in, so I want my work to show that I'm growing. And if you see the students that really grow in this class, they're the ones, come hell or high water, at least have one painting a week that they do at home. And you see the difference in their work. Because I might give you all this information in this lecture. You might go back and watch all of my YouTube videos. But that's not going to make you a better painter. You actually have to have skin in the game. And I can't tell you how many times I'm teaching somebody and they go, oh, I spent all weekend watching YouTube videos. And I go, were they mine? And they go, no. And I said, you wasted your time. You should only watch my, no. But the thing is, you're not going to learn by vicariously watching other people paint. If anything, you're going to get more and more confused. You are far better off sitting with no knowledge in front of something and asking yourself, what makes it look like that? What do I have to do to make it look like that? That's the key. And you practice every day. And you find a way to practice every day. You make that a habit. And I'm committed that 2018, it's a beginning part of the year, that all of you actually find a way to make a commitment so that you can improve your art. Now, some of you are like going, are you kidding me? There's no way I'm going to be able to put any more time in. But you know what I have learned throughout my life? If you want something done, give it to somebody who's busy. They always seem to find time somehow in their busy schedule to actually do something else. I always hear people, they go, oh, ever since I retired, I'm so busy. Even some of you have said that to me. Oh, God, I retired now. And your dream was to paint all the time, right? You wanted to retire and become artist. And now you're so busy. Oh my God, how did I get things done before? Well, the thing is, when you have a job, you're intentional. You have to get to work by 9 o'clock, but you also have this mail that has to be sent. You also have breakfast that you have to make for everybody. So you get up 2 hours earlier. And when you're driving to work, you don't bypass an antique store and you go, there's a new antique store. I think I will drive in. When you retire, the urgency leaves. You have just as much time as you had before, but you're not as intentional as you were before. And so if you decide, and the thing is, it's not even a decision. You have to choose this. If you choose, because I've seen it in the Power to Create class. Right, Chris? We have 15 to 17 students in the Power to Create class. They're all just like you. And I tell them, guess what? In this class for the next 3 months, you're going to be doing 5 paintings a week and 100 drawings. And they're all sitting there going, no way. And the first week, I have my little stars that pop up. They're the ones that always got A's in classes. They pop up. They've done 10 paintings and 200 drawings. And everybody else is sitting there with 1. And I go, what gives? She says, oh my God, I was so inspired, I couldn't stop. And they just kind of start. And so all of a sudden the students go, well, if everybody else is starting to move in that direction, I better start figuring out my schedule and making this part of my day. And the thing is, you love art. Why not really take this on this year? It's not like you have to, but what if? What if you had your painting studio set up in your house somewhere where you could actually get to it every day? Not in the guest bedroom, not in a closet somewhere, but actually like sitting next to where your husband and you watch TV at night. Or sitting in the kitchen someplace where you could still be with the family. And what if while you're cooking, You take the painting and put it over the stove while you're cooking and you're looking at it. And then come back and do some corrections as you go. What if you got up an hour earlier and gave that a try? You know the best time, if you look at people who really do something with their lives, people who are really extraordinary, if you ask them, so what habits do you have? Most of them get up at 4.
At what time?
4.
Yeah, thought about that.
4 o'clock is the magic number. 3 o'clock doesn't work. 5 o'clock is almost a little too late. But that's that 4 o'clock hour. And if you notice, if you're watching movies, it's like you'll always have those little comments like, see you at 4, get up at 4. 4 is the time when, you know, the battles are going to happen. It's always that special number of 4. So at 4 o'clock, you just say, you know, when 4 o'clock runs, I want to be in front of my easel. Now it could be 4 o'clock then, or it could be 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And say, I'm going to put 2 hours in.
So 4 o'clock in the afternoon works?
Yeah, I'm just saying 4 o'clock in the morning is great, but the thing is if you can't. But you know, a lot of people are night owls, right? So maybe, you know, when everybody goes to bed at 10, you sit and say, okay, you guys go to bed at 10, 10 o'clock's my hour. You know, I paint at night because I have a huge window in my living room. And so I have to wait for the sun to go down because I hate painting under natural light. You guys all know that. So it's a matter of being intentional and then also making a commitment. Now, yesterday I gave a talk to my class in San Jose. And you know what everybody said? They said, next week I'm going to, well, they have a 2-week span. So next week they said, next class I'll have a painting, a homework assignment. They made that commitment. And I said, well, you know, there's 2 weeks in there. Because they meet every other week. I said, what about making 2? And they said, okay, I'll do 2. And I say, okay, I want to play a game with you. Commit to me 4, and I might get 3. And they all said, we will work to try to get 4 paintings in 2 weeks. 4 paintings in 2 weeks of studies, that could change the way you paint forever. I have one of my coaching students, he decided January 1st he was going to do 30 paintings. And you did the same thing, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And what was the outcome of doing 30 paintings?
It was fabulous. I loved it.
Yeah, so you committed to every day.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
I had to plan it the night before, so I didn't waste time trying to get it set up. So it was all set up, ready for me to walk in and start painting. It was great. And
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
You did learn a lot. See, that's the thing he found out. He said, yo, God, it's so tough. He says, even to get the ideas are you know, killing me. And we're only 15 days into the new year. And so he's got, I was just trying, and he had a theme. You know, he said, I want to have a theme in all of my paintings I'm going to do this month for 30 days that has something that's happening outside of the painting that's affecting the painting itself. So he kind of set up a theme for himself. So there may be a cast shadow of let's say a cross coming across in your painting of a Bible and a candle or something like that, you know. But you could see it's the cross, so there's an effect, something outside that's happening, or a reflective light off of something, or you know. But he's really, so he's kind of picked a hard thing. But the thing is, he's getting extraordinary. And he says, you know what I'm feeling? I'm really learning. But it's a learning that he's learning, not something that he's getting from me. He's just learning how to mix paint, put it on the canvas, and learning how to capture light and shadows. And it's extraordinary if you do your homework. So my mom had it right. You get into that room and you practice an hour every day and you will like it. And I hated it. But she was right. I began to like it because what happened is that the hour now became joyful because I was hitting the right notes at the end of the week. You know? There's a payoff and there's an outcome. Yes?
So you can't be an annual painter.
You can't be an annual painter.
You told me.
Yeah.
That's what I am.
Yeah.
And that's what probably keeps me stuck.
You can't paint when it's comfortable for you. You have to actually be uncomfortable before you can actually get into a routine. And once you get into that, you're grateful that you have. But painting is the one thing that all of you put off. All of you will look at Friday afternoon going, well, I could have my doctor's appointment at 4 o'clock Friday afternoon, I just won't paint. Right? How many of you have been guilty of that? How many of you have been guilty to be in this class while I'm nagging you to do some homework assignments, and you go, I'm going to go home and I'm going to start tonight. And how many of you talked yourself out of it by 7 o'clock? Right? And then all of a sudden it's Tuesday again. You know, everybody here has got that. And all of a sudden it's Tuesday. It's like, oh shoot, tomorrow's class and he's going to bug me about not doing my homework. And the thing is, I don't care if you do your homework or not. I'm your coach. And your coach is the one that sits there and he's your champion. You know, it's like the people who I coach over the phone that are all over the world, they love this because nobody in their lives cares about their artwork and cares about their future as artists as much as I do. When they talk to me, I am their champion. Everybody around them says, oh, you're silly being an artist. That's just stupid. Remember, you know, your parents told you that being an artist was impractical. You had to get a real job. And all the artists are starving. Don't be silly. And that's the response they still get from people around them. So when they talk to me, I'm like going, so what's up? And they said, I'm painting. I go, good. Let's see. Oh, you know, and then I give them some coaching. And I go, why don't you get your website up? Share that. Put it up on Facebook. Oh, no, I can't show it. I said, do it. You'll be surprised what happens. And then all of a sudden a painting sells. And they go, oh my God, I sold a painting. I said, how's that feel? And they go, great. And I go, let's do it again. That's what's awesome about these classes and coaching classes, is that you have a champion behind you. I am your biggest fan, all of you. I am the guy that wants you to become the greatest artist there is. So this week, I'd like to have you kind of think about how to up your game. It's the beginning of the year. You can make a resolution, and you know how resolutions are. Usually within 2 weeks, they go away. But you know a thing that you'll realize, that all of your resolutions that you make throughout the year, or that you're going to do at the beginning of the year, all of those resolutions, you don't have a champion behind you. You can sit there and say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, but you tell your husband, he's just going to roll his eyes and say, yeah, you say that every year, you know? You don't have somebody that's excited to support you. So if you make a resolution with me, you know you don't want to disappoint me. And so you'll see that you'll keep that resolution up a little bit, maybe 3, 4, 5 months. And if all of a sudden you do it 3, 4, 5 months, it might become a habit. You might actually have everybody around you know that when it comes to be 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you're unapproachable. They can't get a hold of you because for 2 hours, you're in the studio. There's no phone. There's no interruptions. In fact, once you make that commitment, the world will all of a sudden stop invading your space. It has a way of doing that. And you're like going, oh my God. All of a sudden, everybody calls me a 2 instead of 4. You know? So it's really extraordinary. So, I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I'm going to give you your homework assignment this week. At the beginning here, before we go through all the homework. So your homework assignment, what I want you to do, is I want you to create 4 to 5 paintings this week. Create 4 to 5 paintings this week.
Great.
Create.
Create.
Create from nothing. Create. Boom.
Okay.
And the theme that we're going to have is cosmetics. Lipsticks, you know, powder containers, hairbrushes, you know, whatever you take in a travel box. All of those one little items have a lot of little personality and things to them. Group 2 of them together. And instead of, normally what I do is I say, I want you to do one full composition with the travel box and all your things, and that, you know, that might be coming next week, I don't know. But this way you could actually concentrate on doing little 4x4s, 6x6, little things, and try to just not take on making the most extraordinary Mona Lisa painting you've ever painted as a homework assignment because everybody else is doing good and you're not, you could just do a lipstick. And it's a little lid, like, boom. Put a beautiful light on it. And just do that. It's simple. It shouldn't take you more than a couple of hours. That simplicity of that might just kind of get you started like, hey, I could actually do this if I keep my theme kind of simple. If I don't try to do the Mona Lisa every week. And then you can concentrate on how you put paint on the canvas. How do you work with lighting effects? Who knows, the first two you might screw up and say, the third one I'm not going to do what I do with those two. You might do the same theme. You might do 6 paintings of lipstick containers if you found them interesting. I don't know. So that will be your homework assignment for this. So how many of you think that you can do 6 by next week?
It was 4 to 5, now it's 6.
No, I'm going down.
Start off small, we go bigger.
I'm going backwards. Okay. So how many of you think you could actually do 6? I know you could. I know you could. 5. How many of you could do 5? Okay. How many of you
I'm
think...
a beginner, remember?
You're not a beginner. You've been painting a long time.
I mean, that too.
How many of you could do 4? Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. We have everybody think. How many of you think 3? I'm like looking over here at Mary. You think you could do 3?
No, I can do 4.
You think you could do 4? Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if everybody did all that homework? What an extraordinary talk we'll have next week. It will actually elevate this whole room. But remember, if you only get 1 done, that's awesome. If you can just get 1 done, that's awesome, but it's not extraordinary. Extraordinary is 4 to 6. So we're looking at 4 to 6 paintings from each one of you. And they don't have to be complicated, but I think it'd be fun to try.